Hello and welcome back to another Easy Odds Premier League videocast. Thank God the Premier League is back, because I was so sick of that boring international break.
But we did find Dele Alli anytime.
That was a good one.
And we did find San Marino +5.
San Marino +5 was the best bet ever. San Marino +5 was the funniest bet ever. Malta 100 to 1 to win that game, wasn't it? And he lost by 2. Okay, first up, huge game. Chelsea versus Leicester, 12:30 even on Saturday. Sky Sports 1. Massive game for both sides.
Yeah.
Who are the favourites? Obviously Chelsea should be favourites because they're at home, but how much are they favourites by?
They are favourites, absolutely right. And you can probably tell because they've already beaten Leicester once this season, albeit over 120 minutes in the Cup. And Leicester have lost all of their away Premier League matches so far, so you can understand why Chelsea are favourites at Stamford Bridge. Best price 8 to 13, which for me is a little bit short. I wouldn't be backing just a straight up win at 8 to 13. I don't think. Okay. Leicester have already been thrashed at Anfield. They've already been thrashed at Old Trafford. Lost both those matches by 4 goals to 1. And it's clear that the Foxes are nowhere near the force that they were last season. Jamie Vardy's goals have dried up. He's only scored 2 goals this season.
Yeah. And
the watertight defence from last season just seems to be full of gaps all over the place, letting in goals left, right and centre. So you can certainly see why Chelsea are favourites. And big price here for Leicester. If you do fancy a Leicester win, 11 to 2. I think that's a big price. Chelsea, of course, have already lost this season at Stamford Bridge to Liverpool. But my recommended Chelsea versus Leicester bet is Chelsea to win and both teams to score. It's a market that I really, really like. It's the best price here of 11 to 5, which is a far better price than the 8 to 13 available on just a straight up win. This bet has come in for all 3 Premier League games that Leicester have featured in away from home. They've lost 2-1 at Hull, they've lost 4-1 at Liverpool and lost 4-1 at Man United.
Yeah. Did you tip both teams to score?
I did.
Oh yeah, because you tipped both teams to score and Liverpool to win and Jamie Vardy to score anytime.
I did.
I remember that well.
Which was a lot of fun. So basically that's the reasoning. Also, Diego Costa is in great form for Chelsea. Eden Hazard looks to be back to his best. They've also got Cesc Fabregas, who, strangely enough, not really known for his goal scoring, has scored 3 goals in his last 2 games against Leicester. So there's plenty of players on that field for Chelsea that can score goals. But Leicester will probably score as well. They've scored in all 3 of their previous away games, as I've alluded to. Plus, they're up against a defence at Chelsea, which is pretty rotten themselves. They've actually conceded 9 goals in the last 5 games. They've only kept one home clean sheet so far, and that includes matches against Burnley and Bristol Rovers. So if Bristol Rovers can score twice against Chelsea, imagine what Leicester can do. A strange little interesting fact there also is that no team that have won the Premier League have then failed to win their opening 4 away league games. But I do fear for you Foxes fans that it may well happen, and you'll equal Blackburn's record from 1995. So I'm going to be backing Chelsea to win and both teams to score, 11 to 5.
Good price, very good price. 11 to 5. You do love that market, don't you?
It's a good market.
It's a good market. The price just goes up so much. Yeah. It always seems to go up much more than you think when you consider the price they are to win without that.
Really, yeah.
So it's worth it.
Pretty much trebling it, aren't you? Really?
Yeah, and usually it comes in when you tip it.
Yeah, so, usually. So fingers crossed for that. I've also got another big old centre half to hopefully score a goal. Gary Cahill. Defensively hasn't been great this season, but he scored against Leicester in the match in the Cup. So why can't he do it again here? Best price 9 to 1, far better than the worst price of 13 to 2. Make sure that you get the best prices available using easyodds.com.
Yeah. Okay, so next up is Crystal Palace versus West Ham, London derby. West Ham are just absolutely free-falling into just despair at the moment. Seems every single time I see a story about them, it's something just ridiculously bad has happened again to West Ham.
The fans are fighting.
Yeah, the fans are fighting. It's just every single day I see pictures of demolished Upton Park.
Yeah, Upton Park's been blown up.
Yeah, it's just pictures of like seats just thrown everywhere. It looks pretty bad times for Upton Park. But Crystal Palace versus West Ham. Who are the favourites for this one? Quite tight. Probably quite tight, I assume.
Quite tight. Actually, not really. Looking at the market, Crystal Palace are really, really fancied here. They've now lost just one of the last 7 matches, Jake. So they'll fancy their chances. If you think that Crystal Palace will beat West Ham, and the Hammers are winless in 5 games, then you can get a best price of 6 to 5, which is quite interesting because the last 7 London derbies, Palace have failed to win a single one. So West Ham might actually fancy themselves. Plus, when you add to that fact that they've won their last 2 fixtures at Selhurst Park, odds of 5 to 2 may tickle the fancy of quite a few Hammers fans.
Possibly, just because they've had the little international break, they might be a little bit rejuvenated.
A little bit. However, my tip is that the home team is going to come up trumps here. Crystal Palace to win 6 to 5. They can end their London derby hoodoo against a West Ham side who look devoid of balance, in my opinion. Their injuries have hit them hard. They've got injuries throughout the team. Defensively, in particular, I'm not entirely sure if Creswell's going to make this game, and if he doesn't, that leaves them without Mansuaku, Byram, and Creswell, who can all play there. So you'll likely have to play someone like Arbeloa on the wrong side, which isn't ideal up against probably Townsend or Zaha, who are 2 very good players. And it could well be a feisty affair, this one, Jake. There's been a sending off in each of the last 3 fixtures between these 2 teams. But I think that, however it does go down, Crystal Palace will win. They've got Benteke, Townsend and Zaha all looking in really good form. And I fancy a home win here. There's a reason that the Eagles are unbeaten in 5 games, and West Ham still to get their key players back. When you take out Antonio and Payet, they don't really have much to offer. So if those 2 players don't perform, I think Crystal Palace can win this fairly easily. But I think they will win it at a best price of 6 to 5.
Benteke is going to score.
You reckon?
Yeah, well, he scores it all the time. My fancy team, 91st minute or whatever it is. Always, teams score quite a lot of late goals.
Talking of players that score goals, Scott Dan, of course, captain of Crystal Palace.
Yeah.
No defender has scored more goals since the start of last season in the Premier League than Scott Dan.
I know, because I forgot to put in my fancy team, even though I wanted to start the season. I think I accidentally put someone else in.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Big error. And he's a worse price of 5 to 1, or you can squeeze plenty more profit out by using the Easy Odds comparison service and get 13 for 2, which is a pretty decent price there.
Yeah, that's a good price for him too. He scores all the time.
Scores all the time. West Ham really struggled defensively up against West Brom's set pieces and Watford set pieces. And where does Scott Dan score his goals from?
Set pieces.
Set pieces. There you go.
He can be the new Rondon. This isn't the Championship fixture, even though you might think it is.
Yeah.
Middlesbrough versus Watford.
Super Sunday.
Super Sunday. Middlesbrough versus Watford. Wow. Not a great game on paper. But who are the favourites for this one?
I'm actually a little bit surprised about this, but Middlesbrough are favourites to win this game. When you consider that they've won just once this season, and that was against Sunderland, and everyone beat Sunderland. They've picked up just a single point at the Riverside Stadium so far as well, and picked up just a single victory in their last 7 matches against Watford.
Oh, wow.
So bearing all that in mind, they look far too short at 5 to 4. 5 to 4 is a short price. I'm not entirely sure how they've been priced up like that. However, Watford, who have won at West Ham and beaten Man United this season, they look a far better price at 27 to 10.
5 to 4. 5 to 4. When you think, like, if you think of it in horse racing terms, like a 5 to 4 shot, you'd be like pretty certain. Like, well, you're not certain, you know, like, that's quite. He's probably going to win. It's like Middlesbrough. I'd be so unsure that they're going to win. So unsure.
They may well win, but looking at their stats, it doesn't really give you 5 to 4.
They could win for sure.
So I'm going to steer away from the full-time result because it's a bit up in the air, this game, in my opinion. So I'm going to go for Troy Deeney anytime, 13 to 5. I think that's a really good price. The burly Watford striker scored in each of his last 4 meetings against Middlesbrough. He absolutely loves to score against Borough. He's scored more goals in his career against Middlesbrough than any other team. That's an absolutely great stat.
Yeah, that is good stat.
Watford have scored in 15 of the last 16 games against Middlesbrough, and they've netted 9 goals in the last 4 games this season. So I think they will score. I think Troy Deeney's probably their most likely goal scorer. He also takes penalties. His best price is 13 to 5. I think that's a really good price.
Yeah, that is a good price. He will. That's a really good price. That's a fantastic price. I'll be definitely backing that one. 100%.
There we go.
Have you got any? You've got an anytime goal scorer because you've already said it. But
yeah, Troy Deeney. And basically the reason being that he loves to score against Middlesbrough, and also that we can squeeze out some good value. There's actually a worse price here of 7 to 4, which is absolutely huge difference.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't you use easyodds.com? Only through Easy Odds would you find out the difference in prices. So head over to our site or our app or our mobile version and find out the best prices.
That's an enormous difference. That really is an enormous difference. But now,
The big one.
the real big game. You're thinking, you're all thinking, there's no more games. What are you doing? There's no more Premier League games. Well, this might as well be a Premier League game because it's so big.
So big.
A local derby of sorts. Well, it
Yeah,
is a local
it
derby.
is a local
It is a
derby.
local derby, but it's not the biggest
Just-
local derby that there is.
Just 20 miles difference over
Yeah.
the bridge.
Yeah. Okay. Cardiff versus Bristol City.
Oof.
The Mad Dogs team. Friday.
We're finally on Sky.
Sky Sports 1.
Sky Sports 1,
7:45.
prime
Prime
time.
time. Oh. Nice.
Can't wait. It's going to be great. Cardiff and Bristol City games are always fiery. If you add into that the fact that Cardiff have just employed Neil Warnock as manager, you're going to turn that up to 10.
Yeah.
Bristol City and Neil Warnock go way back to the phantom goal that Freddie Sears scored at Ashton Gate, absolutely clear as day, hit the back of the net. The referee thought it hit the hoarding behind the goal and came back out. And we got a goal kick. It was brilliant, Neil. And then we won in the last minute, and he was fuming. It was great.
I remember that so well, that thing.
So yeah, let's look at the odds for this. And Bristol City, my side of course, favourites here to win, 33-20 best price. We've won 4 on the bounce, which is amazing. Sitting pretty in 5th place now in the Championship. We've also got the Championship top scorer in Tammy Abraham.
Mm-hmm.
He scored 2 goals on his England under-21 debut on Wednesday night.
Absolute beast. How many
Absolute
goals in
beast.
how many games now?
That would be 13 goals in 16.
That is
Well
a
done,
superb
Tammy.
record.
Well done, Tammy. For a player that hadn't even played a professional game last season, he's doing pretty well.
If he gets lucky, he might be going on loan to a Premier League side next season. he might go on loan to Stoke or something.
I
Instead.
think if he gets us promoted, then we get first dibs, right?
Yeah. If you get promoted, yeah, hopefully. But hopefully you'll be able to buy him because he's just not going to. The amount of players that go on loan from Chelsea is ridiculous.
It's bordering on 50, isn't it?
They've got their own Twitter account.
Yeah.
Players on loan at Chelsea.
So back to the odds, 33-20. But Bristol City will be more annoyed than even Jake that the international break came because it really stopped a lot of momentum. As I said, 4 wins on the bounce. Then we have to wait 2 weeks to play the next game. There's nothing more annoying than that. They've sold out the allocation for this match. They're going to be desperate to end a run of 9 games without a win in this fixture. Really poor form up against their local rivals. In fact, since Cardiff moved from Ninian Park to the Cardiff City Stadium, the Robins have never won this one. So it's about time. And if you do fancy them, they are 33-20 best price. Cardiff, on the other hand, coming into this on a run of just 2 wins in 12. They scored just 2 goals at home this season. Paul Trollope was then sacked and replaced by Neil Warnock, and he's brought in some real legendary journeymen from the Premier League. He's brought in Sol Bamba, Junior Hoylett, Marouane Chamakh, and just today they signed Kieran Richardson.
I didn't know that.
So
It's
yeah,
like Kieran Richardson. Oh, he is a bad player.
if this was 2007, they'd have a great team.
Yeah, they would have a superb. Even Derby beat Cardiff, so they can't be very good.
So if you fancy instant impact from Neil Warnock, you can get a best price of 23-10 in the full-time market. My recommended bet, though, even though I'm a Bristol City fan, Cardiff to be winning at half-time, 13-5, I think is a really good price.
Traitor.
I believe that Cardiff's performance will be driven by Warnock's just absolute drive, his insistence on blood and thunder, and the Cardiff crowd love that, and it's going to be a real strong start from them. They're going to come out the blocks really strong. The new signings will probably make a difference as well, especially in the first 45. They've got plenty of experience on the pitch now. I expect them to win it over 90 minutes. I'm not entirely sure that they'll actually win the game.
No.
But Bristol City have actually been losing at half-time 7 times this season already.
Okay.
7, including against Derby.
Yeah.
But we normally come back and either draw or win the game, which is incredible. But
like he did against Derby.
like we did against Derby. But our first half performances are not great. So 13-5 on rejuvenated Cardiff to be winning at half-time in this game, I think is a really good price.
Yeah, that's a good price. That's an alright price, I suppose. What's your any time for this baby?
My any time is going to be Cardiff's new signing, Junior Hoylett. He scored against Bristol City last season for QPR at Ashton Gate, and is available at a worst price of 14-5 and a best price of 9-2. That's almost 5-1 on Junior Hoylett, a pretty decent player. on his debut in a big derby. I think that's a really good price there at 92.
Yeah, that's a good price. So there you have it.
Those are my tips,
Those are the
including
tips.
the big championship game
The
on Friday night.
championships game. So let's go through them quickly. Middlesbrough, that was the first one, right? No, that's not the first
Chelsea.
one. Chelsea versus Leicester,
Yeah.
first game. What was your tip there?
Chelsea Leicester, the old faithful market result. Both teams to score. Chelsea to win. Both teams to score. 11-5.
Good price. Crystal Palace versus West Ham.
Sorry, West Ham fans, but I'm going for a home win there. Crystal Palace to win at 6-5.
And Middlesbrough versus Watford.
I'm going for Troy Deeney, who's a big price at 13-5.
Enormous price.
To score a goal.
Massive price. And the biggie, Cardiff versus Bristol City.
It's 13-5 again. That seems to be a recurring price here. It is half-time result, Cardiff, and then Bristol City will probably win it.
So there you have it. 3 Premier League games and a little Championship Friday night fixture for you. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to our channel with a little watermark below or whatever. Just click subscribe. It's around the bottom somewhere. And leave a like rating if you like the video. Download the app, which is
Download the app, yeah, it's
real
really good.
Yeah, good app.
Thanks for watching, everyone.